Hello and welcome back to Actual Play, BALIKBAYAN. We are playing with Jamie, the creator, which we're all real excited about, and we just made our characters. Let me pull that up so folks can see. Here we go. There are our cool PCs, Tonio, Ezra, and Measure.
Awesome, yeah. And I think we're
I
off
was
to a
thinking,
really
I was thinking while we were away, I was like, oh, it's really cool that Tonio sees Measure as being really like strong and powerful, and like and like full of faith.
Mm-hmm.
But Ezra sees Measure as this weak thing
Mm-hmm.
that's like fallible. I think it's such a great like and we wouldn't have got that if we'd all done one around.
Right.
Pretty
exactly,
cool.
yeah.
No,
So
that worked
sometimes
out
I feel
well.
like forcing it, just allowing it gets it really good stuff comes up. So I'm super happy. Yeah. I think we have such a strong start, really good characters to begin with. I can't wait to get into them. So let's sketch out our city. Let's talk about our city just to really bring things to life because a really important aspect of Balikbayan is the city you are in. Like most belonging outside belonging games, your setting is really tied to the characters. So here on the city tab, we have visuals to choose from as well as troubles. And so what we can do. Oh, and I forgot to mention these things are always true. I had to put this in because what I said before the stream was the first time I played Dream of Scooby, we all left. So I put it like, please don't leave the city. Anyway, so these things are always true. It is safe outside of the city, and leaving it for long endangers us all. We are on the run. Unshackled elementals are considered dangerous, and we need humans as much as they need us. And it's up to us, like, why these things are true, if they come up. But from there, let's choose our visual. So I think we can each choose one visual, and then when you choose it, you can you can add to it as much as you like. You can give as much detail, or you can ask the group what details they want to offer. And so let's see, Sean, do you want to start with the first visual to get us started? Which one is calling out to you?
Yeah. Sorry, I was doing stream things trying to get our names in
No,
there, but
yeah,
I remember looking
no
at this
I'm happy
worries.
list
to
and
go.
being like, "Yeah, why don't you go first, Ash? Because I don't want to just they're really good stuff, so I don't. I'll be
People
looking."
who ever watch me streaming will know which one of these was gonna always be the one I'd pick, which is communities built around trash, because it is so fundamentally a description of Ashton that I don't know. So yeah, I want to suggest that um, there are that like there are communities or sects or something like that that kind of have a kind of that there are elements within the city, subpopulations or whatever, that have a connection to the discarded, right? Whether they're an underclass, because I'm thinking like the traditional goblin from like D&D, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we found, look what I found in the trash pile, right? There's that we almost have that there's a um a symbiotic nature between the different elements of community, and that some of them are like, no, we need to have other people consuming to transform things into the used, right? Because once something's been used and it's been consumed and it becomes trash and no longer like product, that imbues it with its own meaning beyond what the corp gave it, right?
I dig that idea that something has a new purpose, a new meaning that wasn't one ascribed by the corp, or maybe it's a
Yeah,
yeah, or a change, a twist of a rebelling against that. Maybe it's we
yeah,
can
like a
still
like
see it, but it's changed.
an apple core has a history that wasn't given to it by the grower.
Yeah.
Right. That it has a story now. And then to consume the apple core then like brings that into you. So
I really like that. Do you have an idea for who these communities and sects are, or do you want it to be like open, like it could be lots of different
yeah,
people?
I feel like there's almost I feel like it might be like a religious sort of experience. So like there are people who have this religion or who have um this spiritual belief. And so that's kind of where I'm seeing it, rather than being a specific, rather than being something that you're born into. It's a thing that you come across and adopt.
Is this religion? Is this belief connected to you?
I think that that like some of my parts are connected to that in some way. Yeah, some Tonyo, like Tonyo would definitely not be like part of like that religious belief, but like has a deep respect for it.
Yeah.
And makes a lot of connections with people in that community. Let's say that my sex worker friend like believes in this, because of the way that like the relationship between being like the sacredness of stories, right, and meaning, and so her sex work also engages with that.
Ooh, I like that. Like maybe there's something that each person discards that they can bring back, or yeah, I like that
Well,
idea.
yeah, I think she sees her thing of her role as a sex worker is allowing people to discard things that are non-physical.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Right, and then she has those stories, right? Then she those discarded feelings, bits of information shared, etc. Yeah.
And like those people, like, this thing's weighing me down or it's hurting me, and she's like, yeah, that's fine. It's still sacred to me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just
Very
taking
cool.
notes, but feel free to like edit if I didn't
No,
quite
I
get
think
gist
your
of it.
notes taking is great.
But yeah, because I prefer people just talk and not worry about writing it down. Perfect. I love this
Cool.
so much. Yeah. Okay. So excited. All right. So, Sean, do you feel ready to choose one?
Oh yeah, we definitely need illegal libraries. We definitely need to in this
Definitely a good one.
current age of the media being uh, villainized by our increasingly, or at least by my increasingly totalitarian government.
Much
Uh,
relate.
yeah, yeah, it's true. It's a global trend. I think that there are. I think that there are. I mean, Earth just kind of getting the cyberpunk Shadowrun touchstones. Like I think Earth is uh in the Texas is like, it was like abandoned. Like Earth is there's not a lot left to it, right? Like it is kind of the detritus of the corp civilization, right? It's what was left behind. And I think that what is official, what is available through most communication hubs is all data that's on it's all wired through compads and data links and whatnot. And these illegal libraries are records of like all sort. It's not part of the trash per se, but it has a similar aesthetic to it, which is that these are records bought of all sorts. And so there are physical print books, there are blueprints, there are computers that are that are unlinked, that have, there are drives that, use these strange ports that are no longer compatible with the current network, but somebody has a machine that they can plug into. And the reason why they're illegal is because they have, among other things, they have financial records of corp activity that is supposed to have all been expunged. And so there is, there's wheeling and dealing amongst the corpse that they have entirely tried to hide, and there are hidden in the cracks of these libraries are some of that information. I think there's also viewpoints and ideas and truths that are on there that would be threatening to the corp, but not as immediate. That's the immediate threat of like why this information needs to be destroyed is because it should have been expunged long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe the corp is trying to sell this myth of it's always been one giant corporation, like
Mhm.
it's always been the way of things. So they're trying to change what they've erased.
Yeah, I like actually that. Thank you, because that captures the thing I wasn't articulating. But it's less that, oh, it's the financial records of X dollars went to Y place, and there's this kind of like embezzlement or crime. It's more that the story of how they came to be is in those records, like that you can find out, like, oh wait, there were 7 companies, and then one took over the other, and there's all this bad blood, and all of these like details that are things like newspapers, right? Like that, like that's illegal because it has headlines and stuff like that. So there's just all these, yeah, recorded media in lots and lots of formats.
Yeah. Do you think there's a keeper of this library? Do you think there are different alcoves?
I think there's definitely a keeper. I think the keeper, I think you have to, I think it's almost I mean, not to be building up these sects, but I'm actually kind of liking the idea of building up these sects of like different cults, because again, this feels very aesthetically similar to Ash's idea. So I feel like that there are a group of people, and they may be some of the same, but that protect this very carefully. And I imagine that the way it's protected is that lots of people have fragments of it scattered throughout. It's not like one big library. It's like two people have to bring together two bits of data that independent look like garbage, and together combined to tell a story. So um, you've got lots of folks hiding things in their homes, hiding things in sort of in plain sight, but it's because it's incomplete. And when they bring them together, they tell the story.
Oh, I like that so much. That's really
Yeah,
good.
I love the way that like ties together um, with the garbage people.
Yeah, right. I think it's all kind of the same stuff, but it's just like different facets of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, I love this game so much. It's so because I just started up a BALIKBAYAN campaign last week and it was completely different. So I'm really
Yeah.
happy. I just love
Uh,
I
I
love
just saw
games.
that Judd is in is in chat, and Judd is a librarian. So I am very happy to bring illegal libraries into the game for all reasons, but also I'm glad that Judd
Oh, if our
is.
librarian wants to help us create an NPC librarian, please feel
Oh
free. We
yeah,
will throw
yeah.
them in.
That would be
Yeah. I'm
stellar.
always willing to put in a badass librarian. I'm gonna be honest. So whatever badass means for us. But yeah, okay. And
I don't know if any of y'all I don't know if any of y'all listened to the Star Wars campaign podcast that James D'Amato had, but their idea of librarians was like, oh yeah, we've got all these grenades. That's an important part of being a librarian. These
totally
guns,
valid.
important librarian business.
Important library business. I have a very soft fondness for antique dealers. Again, I think I talked about it earlier about Highlander. Connor McLeod is this antique dealer, but the terrible but delightful movie Dracula 2000 also has a character who's an antique dealer
I
and ends
love
up being.
Dracula
I
2000. I
love it
haven't seen it in
so
years.
much.
Oh my gosh, I should watch it again.
Yeah, I think there's specifically a line about not messing with an antique dealer.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, maybe we can see the keeper is an antique dealer. The
Yeah.
main keeper is an antique dealer.
I like the idea of an antique dealer being someone who like is like a part of the trash religion or whatever, and like their whole thing is selling the trash back to the rich people. Right? They're like, oh yes, this is from this is 200 years old, and it's like they still found it in the trash, but like the rich people are like,
It's all trash, right? So
Yeah.
it was all discarded. Oh, so good. So good. Yeah. I will include that as well. All right. So, Morgan, was there something calling out to you?
So, I'm torn between two things just because I like the idea of like having some sort of nature come into this. So, either the neon colored storms of acid rain or the mutated flora and fauna. But since it's like a massive, what I'm seeing is like a massive like overflow of structures. I think more the acid rain may fit the scene, fit the setting better than the flora fauna.
I like the flora and fauna, like adding an unexpected element. I don't
Yeah.
know, like
Me too.
to
I
push
think-
us off base.
Yeah, let's go flora fauna then, because that's the first one that actually called out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. So let's see. Let me just mutate it. How is it mutated? Like in what way?
I'm gonna say that there's a lot of bioluminescence going on with it for both flora and fauna. So like maybe there's like raccoons that have like neon green stripes going throughout it. You can see these little streaks running across the street in the middle of the night or something. or
That is so good.
Yeah,
Like,
or
cyberpunk raccoons. I'm here
cyberpunk
for it.
We're getting
raccoons. Yeah,
an Annihilation vibe.
Oh yeah.
actually, I haven't seen Annihilation.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, like bioluminescence is very cool.
I think that's really fitting with this. I would say also maybe floras and faunas, for example. I think things are a lot more mushroom shaped. Doesn't mean they're actual mushrooms themselves, but like there's a lot more like trees that are like sort of like the mushroom like plumage sort of things. You see the ones that are little like the, I don't know what they're called. They're like little discs that stick out on the tree and they look like little stair steps. Maybe there's just some that like sort of grow like mold on buildings and stuff. Instead of like vines, you get like these mushroom side like walkways that some people actually use to probably climb up sometimes because they're that big and sturdy. Well, sturdy.
Sturdy-ish.
I like the idea that like because fungi tend to be things that are like processing what's already there rather than like making stuff from like natural like trees and things make stuff from light and stuff, whereas like fungi is more about like what's already here that I can consume.
Right.
And
Right.
like maybe there's not enough like natural sunlight and things for trees and things to have their old form. Like
Yeah,
or maybe the sunlight is bad, or the like there's not enough in the air to process into things, so you've got to have this. They've got to evolve or mutate into these more funky-like forms.
They remind me of like the droopy trees that you see in Dr. Seuss books. Like,
oh my gosh, yes.
These trees that are just like, you know, and they're no.
I always think of them as trees that have given up.
Yeah.
They've decided enough is enough. So
yeah,
you know, I like, have you noticed like all three, because like with the fungi and everything, it's also very related to the trash and sort of discarded.
Yeah, that's also why I wanted that, because like you can, it's like that. I'm not going to say dirty because you know it's trash and it's not necessarily dirty, but there's like that grunginess to it.
Yeah, and I think I want to say that like that isn't necessarily the end all be all of the Earth existence. That is the part of the city that we're sort of part of, because I feel like also there may be the wealthy corp members that have cut themselves off from a lot of that, and that may have some sort of a walled city within this that they partake in. Like I feel like this is our world, and this is where we can hide, and this is where we can find community, and this is where we can function. But like I don't want to say there has to be a pristine part of the world, but I just feel like we haven't seen it all. Like this is the
I like the idea of like a central like a central area that is like mostly human, like the clean corp human run thing, and then like you get tree rings out into this more grungy area.
Yeah.
One less animal I want to add in, just because it's a very city animal, and one here. It's gonna be a like a two-headed grackle. which is to us is like a corvid. So that's what we have in our city is like grackles, and they're loud and they're vicious and they steal food left and right. So like maybe like Ash was talking about magpies earlier. So like,
yeah, gotta have a corvid.
Gotta have a corvid.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what that looks like. I'll have to look it up later. I couldn't even spell it because I was like, what is it? Okay, we're just gonna put two-headed corvids.
I'm gonna bird nerd for a half second here. So in Australia, we have these things called currawongs, which look almost exactly like crows or ravens or like other corvids. They behave almost exactly like other like corvids. Like they are scavengers and things like that. Except they are not at all related to corvids. They just happen to have like co-evolved into the same space because there weren't any corvids around. And it turns out that apparently like certain sized dark colored birds that scavenge is a thing that like ecosystems need to have.
Yeah, I just realized that grackles aren't a corvid.
They're not even corvid either? Yeah, right.
They're icterids.
Yeah, it's that thing of things like apparently your ecosystems need to have something like a corvid.
Yeah.
And so they'll evolve something if there isn't one.
Ooh, so good, so good. I feel like that's also like we can include that in some way. Two-headed corvids or corvid-like.
But I think they're loud. That's one thing that we know, that they're constantly chattering or chittering or making noises. And I also want to add the bioluminescent aspect to them as well. So maybe like a neon, like purple, pink.
Is it maybe, like their plumage?
And maybe during mating season, like it like shifts and changes and stuff.
I was gonna say if they're black, do they emit like UV light? So you don't normally see them emitting light because it's not in a spectrum we can see.
And I think only
so
during
cyberpunk.
And then only during mating season, like when you see him, like, hey, I'm a bird. Yeah. Let's make eggs. Then you see the colors.
I feel like there's this one of these two-headed grackles, and I don't know if it's named or not, but I feel like there's this one that like sits up on top of like the corner of a building like a gargoyle, and it like squawks at itself, and we don't know whether it's having a conversation with itself, like the two heads are talking, or whether it's just making fucking noise, and like you just don't know. It's like right, like, and I just love that like there's just one and it always lands on the same
gotta be like that's got to be sacred to me, right? Like
can we call them let's call them the Hierophant, because like the Hierophant in the card has like two heads, so everyone just calls it the Hierophant, and they think maybe it gives omens, but maybe it's just talking to itself. We don't know.
Yeah, it would be telling us like the future and omens if we only could understand.
Yeah, I think what Measure would tell you, and maybe Tonya would know this, but I think what Measure would tell you is like, oh no, that's the same one. That they all look the same, but that's the same one that keeps coming there every single day. Like that would have been, you know, there's lots of them, but for whatever reason, that one keeps coming. They don't know. Measure doesn't know why, but for whatever reason, they can tell the pitch of this one is unique, you know, from the others, and they just know it's.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you would. I mean, if they're anything like magpies, you'd be able to because they usually have personalized calls.
Yeah.
If they're a corvid at least, you can tell corvids apart by their calls.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, so cool. Oh, I'm so happy about this.
Yeah, also, I'm very happy about the lime green raccoons.
Yes. I love lime green raccoons.
Wait, I better add the color lime green for the raccoons.
Like a neon green, it's
critical.
Lime green.
You're just like, what's that noise? And you go out in the middle of the night, you just see this like little like bright green thing just darting off in the darkness.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I saw this video. This I think they were Canadian because they sounded really nice while they were getting rid of the raccoons. They were like, now, come on, everybody, come on, Tubby. And there are like 14 raccoons in this one room, and they were so fat and cute. I was like, oh gosh. Yeah. Anyway, raccoons are very mythical to me. I've never seen one in real life. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. When I visited the US last year, everyone kept laughing because they kept being like, oh, "It's a squirrel, a real squirrel in the real world."
That's what I'm like too. Yeah.
Oh
I was
gosh.
also like that about squirrels. So
I've had way too many very close encounters with raccoons where we've like had this like standoff of like, I want you to go through that door, you want to go through that door, but I need to get past you and you need to get past me. How do we do this without tearing each other's faces off, or rather without you tearing my face off? It's happened multiple times where it's gotten inside and I'm trying to get it out.
We get that with possums here.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, it's
Australian
funny.
possums are much cuter than your horrible possums.
Oh yeah. Speaking of our horrible possums, there's this one time I was like dog sitting my mom's dog, so I went outside to let her out, and like I didn't have my glasses on, so I can't really see that well far away, especially at night. And I was like, "Oh, there's a cat on the fence there. Hello, kitty." And I started to get close, and I was like, "Oh wait, no, hold on." Ugh. And it hissed at me. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
oh no. Oh no.
My bad.
I read the story of someone who did that while they were in a hammock outside at night. They thought they were asking their cat to come up, and it was a raccoon instead. And then they were both like, "Uh-oh, now what?"
Oh jeez.
Anyway, so we're definitely gonna let's put the lime green neon raccoon as the friend of the hero font. So I like this idea. But yeah, so we're gonna choose one more visual, or we can go up to 5 if we like. But I want to add, anyone who knows me, I cannot resist putting in robots and stuff. So I'm gonna choose robot/AI community.
Well,
and
I mean, there was that AI, the android that that the human I killed, so maybe they're a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. And I was like thinking to keep up with the whole discarded idea. I kind of like the idea that there were all these robots and AI that were discarded. And for some reason, when some people die, there's a fragment of them that's left behind and the robot picks it up. And so the robot starts to like, right, they take on that discarded life, those discarded memories. But I don't think a lot of people know about them. I think it's kind of like a thing that only our elementals and a few other people know about. Yeah, how do we feel about that though?
I think that's great. I was going to suggest, do we want to have gleaming high-rise structures or dense corporate centers to refer to the places that we don't go because they're too fancy?
They're too nice.
I like it.
I feel like I have a feeling that we aren't allowed there, right? Like,
well, we're in hiding, right? Like we are trying to appear
it would be dangerous.
as humans or cyborgs or AI or as some combination thereof. We can't show that we are unshackled elementals, right? We're on the run.
Exactly.
Unshackled elementals are considered dangerous. Like we might be considered property. We might be considered outlaws. Yeah, it's so yeah, that sounds super cool to me.
Yeah, very cool. And like maybe aside from the elementals, there's also like just a lot of the people we hang out with, like our goblin friends, cannot are not allowed unless they're antique keepers, apparently. So
we're just calling followers of the religion goblins. Is that the?
I think so. I think they're just called goblins.
I kind of like that, but how do you feel about it, Ash?
I'm down with it. Like it's just like you might say acolyte, or you might say you might say like, oh yeah, I'm a Muslim, or or I'm a Christian. I'm a goblin, right? Like that's
oh my gosh, that gives me so much life. I really like that idea. So yeah, okay, so we have gleaming high-rise structures. You're not allowed.
Yeah, and I think just to add a little bit of tension, how do you all feel about this? I think that I have two different ideas for how we got here in terms of how much exposure it brings to us. One of them is that we sort of connected with the goblins, and one of them was the one who took all these scraps and built the other end of the Hypergate light bridge that brought us here, right? And so it was unstable and unreliable, and it blew up on the end. It blew up at the end because it had been cobbled together anyway. The other one is that there's someone deep in the high rise, and so when we in the crystal gleam high rises where the corps have the technology to do this kind of thing, and when we arrived, they all found us and we fled, and so we're sort of a known, like they don't know where we are, but they know that we're on Earth. Do either of those ideas appeal to folks?
I like the second one.
Okay.
Same.
It's like a conspiracy theory where Oh, they do exist. We know.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
know that they're here.
So I think that there's these gleaming high-rise structures, and there's this giant crater where one was that we have left behind in this process. And we're
I'm picturing the arcologies from SimCity 2000
mm-hmm.
for the like where it's like, oh yeah, we've got like entire like parks and things inside our high rise and things like that.
Very
I
cool.
like it. And there's also the question of, did someone from the inside help us, or
Yeah,
Right.
right.
get
How did that
away with it
happen?
entirely?
And if they did, like, we don't know who they are, or
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because
Oh,
that gives
yeah.
us that little bit of tie to the
Yeah.
to the you know, and why we're on the run, right?
Yeah.
Right. That they know
Cool.
we're here.
Super cool. I love it. All right. And then the last thing we're going to choose for a city. So it says here we can choose 1 to 3 troubles, but I find with like a shorter series, like a 3 to 4 session one, it's easier if we just choose one. Or we can combine it if you want to go 1 or 2. It's just that I find if we go for all 3, it creates this huge mess, and there are a lot of threads that come, a lot of loose ends.
Yeah, thank you for framing it like that, because that really, I like, I would be inclined to be like, there's all these problems, but if that is like, if one is suited for a short-term play, then yeah, I think
yeah, because we already have enough with the corp and the enslaved coming after us. So, but yeah, is there anything that's really like calling out to us that we need to have in the game?
Can I say one that I rather not have?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
The lack of physical and psychic privacy.
Yeah, let's take it off the board.
It's because when I played recently in Girl by Moonlight, and we sort of had like a
yeah, that can be rough.
So we had a game that sort of like was like a dreamscape sort of scenario.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the In a Maze of Dreams?
Yeah, we played that one.
Yeah, I love that one. But it's intense.
It's a great, but
it was definitely intense. It was good. It was just I'm like, I don't really want to play that.
Yeah.
I did that already, like recently.
I don't need that again.
I don't need that right now.
I ran 8 sessions of that, and it got really intense.
Yeah. So there's one that I'm really drawn to, but I'm really drawn to it if it gets Ash really excited, because it's very tied to you. False Prophets.
I was actually eyeballing that one too, because that looks really.
I was like, if you feel like, with you being considered a god, a saint, and whatnot, but if there's some false prophet that is usurping, that is rivaling you, or
I mean, like the thing of a prophet is someone who like delivers like the word, right?
Yes,
and it's simple and understandable, and people will act on it. And the whole thing about Tonyo is this tension of like the simple message is things are complicated, right? Exactly, right. That's Tonyo's like, and so anyone who's giving an actual simple message, Tonyo's gonna be like, yeah. So I'm down for that. The other one that did seem like it would link into the discussions we've been having was Memory Hunters. So those were, but I'm totally down to have like false prophets be an issue.
We could even combine the two. Like maybe this false prophet is trying to deliver a message about memory that's like worrying for us. Like, oh, if you discard your memory, you'll become a happier person. Or I'm saying this as someone who has like.
Yeah, it's that thing of I'm going to like relieve you of your horrible experience of memory, and then they're like absorbing it into themselves.
I dig it, but I want to kind of touch back to Morgan's point. Morgan, how close does that feel to you?
I
think that's the thing we just.
I think that's fine, because I do like the idea. Like maybe one of their tenets is like, forget your sins or whatever, and like, let me help you forget the sins. Or
forget your sins is an amazing tagline.
Yes, it maybe once upon a time was forgive for your sins, but now it's forget your, or maybe it wasn't, but like I can see like I will grant you, instead of forgiveness, it's I will grant you forgetfulness, right? And like
let me help you live that life of ignorance, like give me start anew.
I feel like I like the idea that there's multiple false prophets, and we're talking about one at the moment, but
Yeah.
maybe there might be
Okay,
some
cool,
others that
cool.
just because that leaves us open to bringing in like another like other ones if we want to have someone talking about a different concept.
I will tell you right now that
That's it.
Measure has already attempted once to forget all of their memories, hoping
Yep.
that Ezra could help them forget. So I do like the idea that we are antithetically opposed to someone who offers a very, very tempting offer to Measure.
Yeah.
Would this be someone that is already known within our community then? If you were looking for someone like this, like would this be like someone who's like?
Oh, I think they're definitely part of our community. Yeah, I don't think that that's like we're the, we're separated. I think it's you're in a contentious and divided community, and it's like we know them, they know who we are, but we don't, or they know who we are, but not necessarily what we are. But like that's my thought, is that it's all very close. And,
yeah, I'm just thinking, is that the person you're trying to go to before to get to wipe your memories, or was that someone you were trying to go to whenever you wanted your memories wiped, or?
Oh, hold on a second. Let me pull up my thing. An artist who specializes in pre-colonial tech. He recovered and enslaved. I didn't think I had a person.
No. Just that's just me asking, because you were like, oh, maybe I did want to wipe my memories before or something.
Oh no! What I was talking about wiping before was asking you to turn me into
Oh.
because again, like an one, which wouldn't do that, but Measure doesn't know that necessarily. Measure thinks that like they could hide from their past.
Fair. Never mind.
Yeah.
Thank you for
is that cool with you? Like that?
Yeah.
That since you wouldn't do it, they're looking elsewhere now, possibly.
Yeah. No, I like it. How do I feel about it? I think this is another test for you. We'll see how it goes.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so good, so good. Yeah, I can already see Ezra like making judgments.
just sitting back and watching and just like, all right, let's go.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, so we have a really strong city. Is there anything else we want to add before we move on to our setting elements? Any questions we have?
I think as a matter of time, we should move on, just because I don't want to keep us too late, and I'd be happy to come back in between sessions.
Yeah. Actually, the game is best if like we also in the interest of time, I'm thinking what we can do for our setting elements is just choose our desires, and then from there we can answer some of the other questions, because those questions can be like a whole thing, like a whole thing to answer. But let's go over some examples. So we have 6 setting elements. I will say from the start, for a shorter series, we don't have to engage heavily with all 6, right? So it may be that only 1 or 2 are what we engage with the heaviest. So, but yeah, so we have the enslaved, the corp, our magic, our fading, the heart of the city, and our allies. So for the enslaved, Sean, could I have you read the description for that one, please?
Sure. We were one of the lucky few who escaped. We left behind many of us. Some of the enslaved wanted to stay, choosing the cold machines over the heart of our home. Some of the enslaved tried to leave and were punished for it. What makes them different from us, you ask? Not very much at all. They're powerful, dangerous, and as heartbroken as we are.
Right. So these are just some questions. We're not going to answer them today, just stuff to keep in mind that'll come up in play next time. So the questions of why did we leave so many elementals behind to slavery? I liked what Morgan said earlier, like, none of them matter to us, the ones on the other side of the bridge. So I thought that was so cool. But also, why wouldn't our fellow elementals run away with us? And there's another question: what significant relationships or memories do we have with the enslaved? Right. From there, though, we have a few desires to choose from. So people who are watching may notice this is also slightly different. I tweak some of these desires. Also, these are not our rigid choices. We can just make stuff up if we want to, right? I want to put that out there. So let me just read out the choices. We have freedom from pain, vengeance for the fallen, return to the past, to be reborn, recreate the truth, atonement, break a prophecy, or illusion of power. So, what two desires do we think? This will help me as your GM, like what the enslaved are working towards or what's driving them as they are used to chase us down by the corp.
I like freedom from pain.
I like that too.
Yeah. Do we feel like it's a physical pain, an emotional one, both?
I think it's a physical pain. I think being caged inside the machines is actually like antithetical in some ways to our existence, and that it's an erosion of who we are, of what we are. It may also be, I think implicit with that would also have to be an emotional pain, but I feel like physical pain is definitely part of it.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
Does that gel with everyone else? Is that cool?
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, and Morgan, was there a second desire that's calling out to you?
Since I kind of destroyed, just the fridge, nothing too big.
Yeah.
Just my greatest creation ever.
What? I think they also want to. I don't know about return to the past. I mean, because what seems like they do want to have what they had back then, maybe to be reborn.
Good question.
Yeah.
Does recreate the truth kind of like?
I'm eyeballing that too because I think that fits better because since they can't return to it, they're just like, we'll just start over, redo what we did, take two. How does that work for y'all?
Yeah,
I like it. It also feels a little bit like it's sort of buying into the same thing that the corpse do, which is like erase the past, right? Like let's pretend like that didn't happen, and I think that's beautifully hypocritical, right? Like
like they've convinced themselves that this is the only way forward, that there's no other way, so we just have to make the most out of it. It's very post-colonial, so I absolutely agree.
Exactly, right. Like it's not a perfect answer by any stretch, but it's the answer that makes sense in the context of the tools that they have, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I really love this a lot. All right, and then I feel like that's a good place to put that there, right? We can just go a very overview. But if someone really wants to jump in and say, no, Jamie, I insist on stating this truth, please feel free, But yeah, so next, let's look at the corp. So our previous masters. Ash, can I have you read this for us, please?
The corporations have owned us, body and soul, for countless generations. No one remembers how the humans first discovered the true nature of our magic, or how they built machines to harness it. No one remembers why we agreed to it. We only remember that when we said no more, that they activated the enslavement protocols. We are an investment, and want to continue to profit from our pain and hardship. The corp is also petty and incredibly deadly. And they've got some questions, which are, what is the nature of the corp and how do they dominate the galaxy and our city? What terms have they set for our mandated return to slavery? And who is in charge? How have they bent the city to their will?
Right. So if any of those questions, if we really want to, I notice some people are usually drawn to the last one because they like putting a face that's going to show up in all the holo screens all over the city in case we want to do that. But the most important thing to do is to choose two desires. So, but how do we feel about this so far?
I like the idea that the face that appears on all the holo screens or something isn't even like a person, but like a constructed, well, like a constructed media personage, right? Like Miku or a Muppet or like the gorillas, right?
Oh my God,
like a fake person.
That reminds me of like the Dark Mirror episode where this like Muppet ran for president and won, and then it just transforms where it's like a total like dictatorship of this Muppet leading like I think it was season 1 that, and it was just like, oh, these parallels are too real to what's going on in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I like the idea that it's like a human who's been made so perfect by genetic engineering and whatnot that like they've just like completely unpassed the uncanny valley. So like we have this like version of a person, but it is like it's by some strange definition so perfect that it's just inhuman at this point, at least to everyone else's perception.
Yeah.
Are they actually human or are they AI?
I think that they are like flesh and blood, but like their mind is constructed because of the way that they were like educated and like they probably used electronics to like put certain ideas in certain places in their head. So like they are not artificial intelligence in that it's on a computer, but they're artificial intelligence in that this intelligence is entirely constructed in a wetware brain.
Brain hacking.
Yeah.
I like that. I really like that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, what if we genetically engineered the president and we made sure that every single experience that the president ever had as they were growing up was exactly what we wanted them to be. And then once they got to a certain age, we used technology to make sure that they would never grow older and would never change as a person.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and maybe that information is in the illegal libraries as well. Like people, they
Like
don't
the
want
real
them to know
the real truth. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the beginning
Yeah,
of the beginning of that program, the yeah. Oof. They need a name. We don't have to think of it now, but they definitely need a name because if this person is effectively immortal, yeah, or either a name or just something that they're called, right? Like maybe we don't know their name, but we definitely call them something.
Yeah.
Maybe they have like just a title.
Yeah, it could be even as like the I don't want to say the supreme leader, but like it along those lines, right? It could just be the
I'm a fan of King George because it's kind of friendly. Like everyone always like whenever during like the war movies and things, everyone's like, oh, for King George. It's such a friendly but also still the king, right? Like
I'm here for it.
yeah, and I like the idea it's King George, but it's a very femme-presenting, femme-perceived. I really like that.
Because what are kings and queens now? You know,
I was like, what happens if? Yeah, I like the idea of using king or queen as opposed to like president or director, because that's
yeah.
I love this so much. It's so good. Yeah. The moment we give the corp a face, it just helps us go rawr.
Is King George played by Tilda Swinton?
Oh my gosh, I was thinking of Tilda Swinton when I said that. So
yes, because she has the perfect Piers almost manufactured face.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
She did play an angel in Constantine, and that was just like,
yeah.
So
good.
Oh my gosh, so perfect. I will. Ooh, I think I have a picture already because I'm obsessive. I tend.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I think one of the desires has to be to unfold the final plan.
Yes.
That just seems so like.
So it gives us like a sense of urgency and a countdown.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Perfect for us. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a new one I added because I just love the sound of it. Unfold the final plan.
Yeah,
like this Emperor voice, Palpatine voice.
I was like not at all about that one at first, and then once we started describing this character, I was like, oh no, now they're that's.
I like pairing that with immortality.
Sure.
Ooh,
right.
Yeah.
Like it because what it does is it creates that thing that Christianity does. Right. There's gonna be a final plan, but also you want to be around for it. We don't know when it's happening, and when you do, everything will be perfect forever.
Yep.
So good. That is such a good way of summarizing that I never realized. That is true. That is absolutely true.
Well, and those things are both ways in which you can manipulate people into giving up, sacrificing everything, including their life, their freedom, their whatnot, because you can say it's all in service of this and you'll be rewarded. Right, like you'll get it all back tenfold, 1,000-fold. Right, you'll have everything you could ever want. Just give up your freedom, your identity, your beliefs, your values, your life. all those things to have this dream come true someday.
Yeah, I love it. I took note of that. That's so good. Yeah, okay. And then with that, we have our magic, right? So can I have Morgan read this out for us, please?
Sorry, I was just thinking real quick. Since they're saying
No
people give
worries.
up everything, I'm like, are they working with the false prophets? Like, with the memories
Yeah.
erasing?
Oh yeah, I dig it.
Maybe
I
to
think
form
the false prophets
experiments.
are offering like a bootleg version of the corpse spell. Like
That's also a good way to do it.
It's like you can't have what they have, but we can give you something.
Yeah.
We can give you something close to it. Like
yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. It's kind of like I don't know why my brain went to Repo's Genetic Opera, and when in that they have these high end drugs where they use for that. However, you can get like knockoff fake drugs that are pulled out of dead bodies that can give you the similar effects, but it also cause an addiction. So, so it's like, oh yeah, you can have the same feels and stuff like that, but it's just like it's a little illegal. Like maybe it's not on the up and up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, magic. Sorry. Okay.
No, it's I really appreciate this. Yeah.
All right.
No worries. I'm just thinking about the time, but this is the part where everyone gets excited because everything starts to come together, so it's understandable. But yeah, go ahead, Morgan.
All right. Long ago, there may have been a boundary that existed between machine and magic, but now it is magic that powers the machines that make magic more powerful. This symbiosis runs every planet and colony in our galaxy. But magic can be unpredictable, and the ghosts in our machines demand life. But our magic is all we have to protect us, our city, and our future. We have no choice but to wield our magic and face the consequences.
Yeah. And some of the questions just to consider, right, as we choose our desires, is what are the laws of magic, if any? Who or what established these laws? How has magic changed and evolved technology? Who benefits from this? Probably not us, let's be honest. And what has this technology gifted humanity? What has it taken away? Right. So these are questions we can definitely play to find out. And so with that, oh, is there something calling out to us?
No, I was just agreeing.
And so from that, here are desires. Unless someone wants to jump in with any of the questions to answer, but so our desires to choose from or make up new ones. Human dependence. Oh, I also have to clarify because this is a question that comes up for belonging outside belonging. Like, how does magic desire it? It doesn't mean that magic is necessarily sentient, that we can make it that way, but it's definitely where, as players, as a GM, we will push magic towards, right? Like, what is driving it?
Right.
So
it seems like it's what is magic sort of natural or where does it naturally, like the universe is always leading to a state of greater entropy and lesser energy, right? Like those sort of truths about magic that it's always pushing towards these things. Is that
exactly
cool?
Yeah, that's a perfect way to describe it. I will take note and put
I
that in the beta.
Like to be unshackled.
That magic wants to be unshackled.
Yeah. That seems
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm not keen on sentience and independence. Not keen on the notion of magic as its own sentience thing, because we're talking about sentience and so many other capacities that I don't. It's not like that isn't cool, but we're already addressing that in so many fronts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, there's a lot going on already. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Morgan, is there a desire calling out to you?
Maybe entropy?
That was the one I was thinking would work really well.
Yeah.
With
Same.
unshackled.
Dig it.
Yeah. Does that mean like maybe magic has been unnaturally held in a state where it's not allowed to go through cycles anymore because it has to keep powering the corp and the galaxy? And so entropy is beyond it, and it's shackled into this constant state of life.
It's got like this, like I would say symbiosis, but it's not really symbiotic because it doesn't really agree, but it's, like I said, it's forced to doing it. and there's
Parasitic.
Yeah, it could, but I think that we are the parasites.
Yeah, the corp is a parasite. Yeah, totally.
And yeah, I think that works really well.
Awesome. Yeah, I took note. Beautiful, beautiful, really good. Oh, I'm so happy. All right. Okay, and then the next one is the fading, right? So let's see. Could I have Ash read this one for us, please?
Well, the machine made us stronger. Our essence has flared brighter. Too bright. We're burning ourselves out. Every time we use our magic, we fade a little more. For every day that we exist, we come a little closer to oblivion. No one knows what happened to elementals after what happens to elementals after we cease to function. Maybe Salad, the afterworld awaits us. Perhaps we will be reborn. Or maybe there is only nothingness. And the questions for the fading are: why do the elementals have to fade? What took away their immortality? How is the fading connected to the rich and the powerful humans' immortality? And what significant relationships or memories do we have with the faded?
Right. So the fading is basically the idea that we are no longer immortal. And this is interesting, right? Because magic is moving towards entropy or wants entropy as well. So this is interesting. But yeah, so what desires are calling out to us? Like I put a really different mix. We have stuff like peaceful oblivion, reincarnation. We also have fiery apocalypse, just in case.
I feel like what we've been pointing towards is strengthening humanity. That like as we fade, that is kind of the natural, like that is what the corp is trying to like capitalize on. That because we fade, they take it us into them in some ways, filtered through the machines, etc. But like that's how like our loss of mortality is tied to theirs. Does that sound cool to folks?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, is there another? I really like that. Is there another one that is calling out to us?
Fiery Apocalypse calls out to me, just because it's fun.
Me too.
Yes.
Also, the final plan.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, right. Dope. Love it.
And Final Apocalypse is also like, I love the notion that like the corp or the humans or whatnot are trying to control this outcome. They could very easily go either way. It's like we're trying to thread a needle where the one perfect bullseye shot is we capture all their power. Every other possibility is it explodes.
Like everyone else is like, you could put the brakes on and not keep moving forward. You could turn around or everything. They're like, no, we have to go forwards towards this thing. Yeah. We just have to be very careful, right?
Yeah, like we just have to get it right. There will be sacrifices to it. Yeah.
I really like that. So we still have a couple of more setting elements, but I don't mind saving that for next time.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, because like I feel like this is a lot to think about. I really like where this is, and it's fun to start with a little setting element creation before we jump in as characters. But how does everyone else feel about that?
Oh, great! I'm excited.
Yeah,
that sounds great to me. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Wow, this world is freaking rad.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, some of the real strengths of the belonging anti-belonging system is just really having fun with the world building and generation, and that's something that really delivers really strongly. But it really feels owned, right? It feels owned by all of us. Because even though there are all these there are all these prompts, it's us who brought it to life. So.
And it feels that there's a lot of stuff to play through rather than stuff that we have played. I sometimes get really nervous about long character creation sessions because I'm like, cool, did we just play the game? And that sometimes that is the game, right? Like for the Queen is kind of like a long character creation session, right? Like it's a story of how we got to be here. But this felt very much like we were setting up situations rather than resolving them. So that's really rewarding as well, because I don't want to get done and be like, cool, well, that's what's there to do now. So, but I feel in this
That was
case,
fun.
there's a
Nice
lot to do.
game, everybody. We're done.
And that is a cool game. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
disparage games that are basically designed like that, but I'm very excited that we have a lot of material to play through at this point.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of which, I'd love to check in. What is something that people really want to happen for their character or for the story that I can try to introduce as your GM? Like I can offer something. Um, Looking at the city, I really want those corvids to come front and center in some way. I just love the idea of two-headed big blackbirds. So yeah, so that's something that I want to highlight for myself personally that I'd love to see. Is there something else? Anything? We can go in character keeper order. So we can start with, who's our character? Because usually I think our first one is, okay. So Ash, what are you really hoping will happen? Yeah.
I mean, I'm really excited about this character and interrogating like their legitimacy, and like that, and their legitimacy and authority as a in conflict with their plurality, right? And the way that like we have this whole thing, at least in like Western society, of talking about like just be yourself, because that's a thing that's a singular monolithical thing that you can know, and we expect things to be simple and we expect the government to give us strong singular messaging about how to deal with problems, right? So there's this thing of like singularity is valued, and multiplicity is almost means that something's not real. And so that's the thing that I'm excited to explore with the character, and to see that play out between the singular vision of the corp versus the multiplicity of our goblin religion.
Absolutely, I love the goblins. I'm so attached already. I want the best things for them. But yeah, so
those are the themes that I'm interested in.
Yeah, definitely. I want to make sure to highlight that. So thank you for that. Yeah, and then Morgan, what would you like to focus on for our coming series for your character, for the city?
I think for my character, at least the hope that I have for them is fall in love for the first time. So maybe having that bit of like heartbreak and, oh god, so edgelordy, that heartbreak and just that shattering of like, do I turn you into a Aswang as well, like to be with me forever, or like do I say that for the 1D, or like, and just I don't know, like, and then sorry, my brain's shutting down slowly.
No, it's okay. Yeah, no worries.
And I think for the city itself, I feel like it's starting to be slowly, with this upcoming plan happening, that and the false prophets coming up as well. There's going to be like a sort of a civil unrest of sorts that I'm that my brain is picturing. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, right? As the plan unfolds. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's so good. I promise to offer you edgy love. I'm very I love doing that. So also feel free to script change if I flirt too much. I tend to do that like in game. So because romance is so important for me in games. Yeah, and then Sean, how about for measure or for the city? What wishes do you have?
This is kind of riffing off of both Ash and Morgan, honestly. I really want to see the internal tension of the false prophets, and essentially I want to see their recycled version of the corpse mantra, their offering of forgetfulness and oblivion, and really I kind of want to, because we're playing only a few sessions, I want to like see the tension there of being within a community where you disagree vehemently with the community leader, and we have to figure out how we want to continue to function in that community. And it's not like the corpse were like, yeah, punch him in the face, but the false prophet is like one of us, presumably. It's like one of the goblins. And are they right? Are they wrong? I don't want to ascribe that, but I do feel very much that like measure, and so I think really all of us feel very opposed to that notion, because it feels like it's just the corpse message regurgitated. And yeah, so I want to see that kind of come to a boiling point quickly, where we present a threat to them, and especially the things you were talking about, Ash, of like this plurality of this, like this holding many ideas in your mind at once, like that is like actively threatening to them, and I'd like to see that that come on screen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love all of this. So I'm going to keep all of that in mind.
And Morgan, I'd love to give you plenty of opportunities for loving feels. I think that my character is very much in love with the elemental that they have lost, and has very strong feelings about them. And that may make you jelly. I could see you having feelings, because now I'm feeling a little bit like the elemental I have with me is dying, is kind of in hospice. And I think that sort of evokes some weird feels too, where lots of times people, when there's a caretaker, sometimes people start developing feelings about, the caretaker, who is like no longer has a partner, because they are no longer has a partner that they're watching their partner as they're dying. I don't know. So just throw out lots of possibilities there for if that sounds cool to you.
Let's just see how this goes, and we'll play it out together, and we'll find out. And I think whatever happens will be amazing. So
cool.
Spoken like a true PPTA veteran. Yes, absolutely.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I think one of the PPTA mantras is like, do what's called for character or something. I don't know the exact wording, but like it's like do what your character, do what nature does, or whatever. I don't know. My brain is pushed now.
It's late.
Yes. It's late. So no worries. Absolutely. So thank you so much, everybody. You did great. Everybody did fantastic.
Yeah.
This is great. All right. Well, let's sign out so Morgan can so we can get some sleep. I'm Sean.
I like the sleeps.
Yeah, the sleeps are good. I'm Sean. I use he, him pronouns. I'm very excited about Chad just said, say what honesty demands.
Yes, thank you, Levi.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect.
And I'm real excited about continuing to play this game. We also have a Stars Not Number game and a Scum and Villainy game, and Judd and I are going to come back for more Burning Wheel. So there's just lots and lots happening on the channel, and I'm excited about playing and being part of those games. I'm also excited to move some of the actual play onto podcast format. We're taking our old streams and putting them in a podcast, and I'm adding little commentaries at the beginning and the end, just a little blurb to contextualize some of them. So that's going to be a long project to get all the.
It's a lot of content.
It's a lot of content. It's over 200 episodes. I counted. So it'll be a lot. But I've been having fun setting those up. So lots of cool stuff ahead. How about you, Morgan?
Yes. Hi, I'm Morgan. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Serena Bezos. I am a part of the Roll to Play Network with Powered by the Players, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse podcast where we play one-shots and mini campaigns of all your favorite PPTA games with a rotating diverse cast. I'm usually the one wrangling all the cats. So we just finished releasing our Mask mini campaign, and we're about to release our Bluebeard's Bride one-shot. So if you like PBTA and you like people learning and as they go and sharing that chaos of learning and playing together with not really playing the game before, join us. Come follow our madness. Other than that, I'm part of the Red Death, which was a D&D 5e game, which we're now moving to a different system. I'm part of Utopia TV, which is a BIMPOC Twitch stream for actual plays. That's by BIMPOC for BIMPOC. So yeah, I do a lot. I'm here. I'm happy to be a part, and I'm excited for this game. I really am.
Cool.
And you, Ash?
Fantastic.
I've been Ash, playing and will be playing Tonya. I make games and stream. You can find me on Twitter, on Twitch and YouTube, and also on itch.io. All the same places: Acegiac, ACEGIAK, and Jamie.
Yeah, so I'm Jamie. I'm so honored to have the opportunity to run BALIKBAYAN for everybody here. Everybody has been so creative. We went into really interesting places today. You can find me on Twitter and itch.io as Temporal Hiccup. My partner used that to describe a Max Payne game once, and it stuck with me. So Temporal Hiccup. Yeah, and aside from that, I also play a lot of games on the Gauntlet. I realized I should have plugged that properly. So the Gauntlet Hangouts, where I unleash my playtests on a lot of people there. So you can find me there too if you're interested. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I'm so excited for the next time we play.
All right. We'll see you all next time.